Welcome back to another video. And before we get started, we'll take care of a little housekeeping. I am not Sheila E. I am not Morse Day or the Time, and I am not Prince. Rest in peace. But I think that I am a sexy, you know what, and I'm not your financial advisor. So anyway, let that little earworm get you going for the weekend. Start your weekend out with a little Prince, man. There's really not a bad song you can go wrong with. That guy was a musical genius. Anyway, we're gonna jump right into it. So I want to get you in and out of here. I told you I wasn't gonna be able to get a video out last Monday because I had some prior conflicts, and so I didn't, and I'll have to. Anyway, we're going to start out here while I have you guys just kind of looking before I jump into this 100,000 plant to milestone video. I just want to talk a little bit about something you should be really keeping an eye on here. As this economy is really tanking. The global economy is tanking, and you need to keep. We'll cover the macaroni and cheese thoughts that I have, but you need to keep an eye on several things. I mentioned a couple of videos ago about keeping an eye on Evergrande in China. And also, which is a big builder, building stuff, the biggest one they have, and that was, in peril a little bit ago, not too long ago actually. And I don't think they're out of the woods because they're shutting things down again over in Shanghai. The other thing you need to keep an eye on is Deutsche Bank, and Deutsche Bank has concerns about this one, and that's the Bank of Japan and what they're going to do with their interest rates. It basically is a petri dish for all other central banks, and they've been Japan's economy is just so bad, and for 25 years, right? It's propped up, it's engineered by their Fed. And so I just bring that up because, again, I know that everyone's looking for this bottom in terms of the market, overall. Right now, crypto's in peril as well, and I'm not trying to feed the FUD here. I'm just telling you what the facts are. And what the Bank of Japan has been doing is basically printing more money to buy their own bonds, right, and their own debts in order to basically drive their yield curve control, right? And so that they're trying to keep their interest rates at a certain level, but this past week it got kind of dicey, and I think that when we saw that first market sell-off on Monday, all indicators were that it's one of those things where it might have impacted the U.S. bonds, because what the Fed over there in Japan has also been doing, or not the Fed, but because the interest rates, they're negative in terms of the yields for their bonds. People in Japan are looking for safety and yield, and they've been buying U.S. Treasuries. So what happens if it gets out of control and then they decide to raise rates again, or let rates stabilize or normalize? I guess what's going to happen is they may decide to stop buying the U.S. Treasuries, which means that puts the U.S. at a little bit more peril, and then our Federal Reserve has to make some adjustments as well. It's really quite convoluted and complicated, and the exposure that number one, that Deutsche Bank has in terms of all the derivative products that they have. I mean, I don't think that anybody even knows how bad that they are in terms, and how at risk they are. And then again, Evergrande is its own separate thing as well. But I think we need to be careful. I don't think that we're going to have that Lehman Black Swan event in the U.S., because I know that I have a friend who actually works at the Fed. I actually spent 2 summers working at the Fed myself back in the 80s in the savings bond division. I'm not some guy working with policy or anything, but it was a summer internship. But anyway, long story short, I have a guy who works at the Fed right now, and he and his team go around and they basically do the examination of the banks for their health. And so all indicators are that the U.S. banks are not in the position to have another Lehman Bear Stearns crisis, right? What I think will happen is that we're going to get something that will precipitate a black swan event from either Europe, because they have not done the same work that the U.S. banks have done. And I don't think that they're nearly as healthy as the U.S. is, even though we're not that healthy. And they've done nothing but kick their government debt and spending down the road. I mean, and their banking is not nearly as strong either. So that could be a big risk play. And again, what I just mentioned in terms of what the Bank of Japan does, right? I mean, it's, it's got to keep an eye on these things, right? You got to prepare yourself. I'm doing that right now myself. I'm really making the effort to, make sure that I have some cash flow, that I have some dry powder to, really pour in when this thing gets done hitting bottom, which I don't think we're close to yet. But let's see. And I think another thing to also keep an eye on, because remember back in 07, 08, Bear and Lehman, it happened on the weekend, right? And I think that you keep an eye on the market today, because it's been a horrible week. You got the, Bank of Japan coming out to kind of give some guidance in terms of what they're thinking and what they might do, especially they're going to be reacting to what the Fed did here with that 0.75 increase and hike. And so that'll be interesting. But I think coming into these weekends, I think because of Bear, and Lehman, almost collapsing on a weekend and a couple of weekends, I think people are less willing to hold, positions over the weekend these days because of the perilous situations that we might be in. So anyway, just something to keep an eye on. Get your house in order. I think it's not going to be a soft-ish landing either. I think it's going to be a very, very tough go the next couple of years. So, get your house in order. So that's it. So anyway, let's talk about this 100K, talked about the macro. Let's talk about this 100K plant milestone. Let me just show you my stats here in terms of what's going on. You can kind of see here, by Sunday, close of business Sunday, I will be at 100,000 plants, which is great. And if I had some more dark capital, I'm working on that, I would drop more in the in the garden as well. I'm going to stick to my piggy bank plan, and I'll cover the piggy bank in a second. So anyway, you guys can kind of look and see here, kind of what's going on. I just hydrated about 1,100 plants this morning, or compounded 1,100 plants this morning. So again, I'm feeling really good about where this thing is going to be. In terms of plants, I'm making over $1 million a year, about 94,000 at this point a month, and I think that'll be close to 100,000 by the time. It seems like it's kind of parallels what I'm making, a day, or making in plants, or what I have banked in plants already in terms of what my production is a month, but we'll see. So anyway, this is looking good, and again, feeling really good about that. So here's, for those of you, again, my channel, I know my channel is called Healing the D with Drip Network, Healing Detroit. Every month I show you guys this, that I donate to local nonprofits with the anticipation that Drip is going to eventually turn around, and it'll be significant because I have a separate wallet. It's at about 36, by the way. I have a separate wallet that I want to give and dedicate to giving to local nonprofits. Now, I've been giving just 20 bucks out of my own pocket, just because the amount of drip that I'm generating from that, when I first bought in, drip was at 100. And so I bought it, put about 1,000 in. And so it's down significantly, but that's not the whole point of it. It'll come back eventually. This too shall pass. But this is more, this channel has become more about, compounding passive income. And so I'm sharing with you, that's why I do Miner Monday as well. And I will be doing one on Monday. But again, you'll find that I'm going to start talking more and more about different opportunities and different things that I've been invested in from prior to starting this channel. And one of those things is called Flare Networks. And there's a canary network they have called the Songbird Network. And so this thing really is incredible. I've been generating passive income in Songbird, even though it's not worth a whole lot right now in terms of its token price. But I've been generating about 220 to 240, Songbird a week without having to leave my wallet, right? And so if you want to really check this out, I'll leave a link in the description. There's a guy called Mickey B. Fresh who covers Flare Network and does a really good job. Now, here's what you're going to find about Mickey. He's a little rough around the edges. He has kind of a voice that would make you say, huh? It's kind of like Forex a little bit. I know Forex had his motorcycle accident, but you got to get beyond the voice. This guy is incredibly smart and savvy, and will tell you and explain to you about Flare Networks. And now here's where this is awesome. Flare Networks is a layer 1 protocol and blockchain, and basically it's bridging every other blockchain that's out there. And when you actually have Flare tokens, you're generating other Flare tokens by delegating your votes to oracles, right? Anyway, it's a whole long process, but here's where I'm calling for any drippers who know about Flare Network. we need to figure out a way to get together to see about getting drip added to Flare Network, because if we can get there to be an F drip for the Flare assets. So basically also, as you can convert any token that's out there on the Flare network into an F asset. So it'd be F drip, right? And it basically wraps it and converts it and gives it the ability to be a smart contract. So Doge is going to be on there, XRP is going to be on there, Litecoin is going to be on there. There's a handful of other tokens, and they're basically being given smart contract ability, and it doesn't leave your wallet. That's the other thing about it, right? So it's really as risk-free as you can get, and you're going to be generating Flare tokens from converting those assets over, as well as delegating your Flare tokens. And it's technically supposed to be coming out June 1st. And so Songbird is just the Canary network. But anyway, for any of the drippers that are out there that are also Flare folks, Flare network holders and token holders are going to be whenever the airdrops, start. We need to consider, lobbying to get drip added and the various, drip network ecosystem, pigs and dogs as well, to see if we can get those added, because I think that would bring some great exposure. The XRP army and network and community is huge. And Flare really leveraged their, token airdrops by giving a 1-to-1 for however many XRP you had. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I'll come back and touch on that. But again, it's another passive income opportunity and stream that you have, and it's as risk-free as possible, right? You don't have to actually stake your tokens, your Flare tokens. You delegate the votes, and you get, votes, or you get yield that way as well. So anyway, I'll leave the link for Mickey Be Fresh to kind of let you guys dig in there and check this out. It's really, I was so hot in this project that they've delayed, as I've mentioned before, so many times. So anyway, that's going to be that. So let's talk about the three things that, actually, let me just go over to my piggy bank. I'll just show you guys while I'm talking about this, right? I don't have a lot of pigs in there yet, but I will. I promise you I will. So here's my piggy bank and what's going on here, right? And again, the price of pigs is, as you see, $79. Honestly, I would not be shocked to see this thing, depending on how long it takes Forex to get, this animal farm up and running. I can see it going down to $25-$30. I know that there's a big talk. All developers do this. They talk about how the price is going to just explode, but you got to have the ecosystem working, and he doesn't yet. So I know he's working on it, but we're still a couple of weeks out, and we've seen how quickly this thing has declined in just a couple of weeks. So it wouldn't shock me to see between 25 and $40. I'm not freaking out about it because I'm long-term on this. But here's the thing that I want to see Forex consider doing and adding. And again, getting the piggy bank or getting the animal farm up and going should take priority over anything. But if you want to make the piggy bank better, once you get the animal farm up and running, you got to have these three things, right? And this is, I'm looking at this because as I'm getting to the end of June, I've already shared my piggy bank strategy. As I start adding 2 more stakes here and piggy banks, I'm going to have 10 total that I have to manage. And I'd like to see for any piggy banks that are no longer locked, the ability to merge those. I'd be happy to pay a small fee to do that as well, right? That goes back to the piggy bank, wherever he wants to put that. So that would be my first big one, right? As all of these become unlocked, I want to be able to merge them into one, instead of having to manage them all. It'll save me gas fees. So that would be my number one thing that I'd like to see, him add as an additional feature. The second thing that I think would be huge is to do auto compounding for any staked piggy bank for over a year, right? Between that 1 year to 3 years, whatever that looks like. I'd like to see that auto compounding, right? And that would just be such a help in terms of a hassle and not missing out on those stakes, right? I don't care as much if I'm not getting those, on the ones that are no longer getting that time lock bonus, because I'm not losing out on it, and I think this also incentivizes, and it really aligns with Forex Shark's roadmap for the overall ecosystem to allow for people to stake longer term. I don't think anybody less than a year should get it. And I think it's important for you to be in there and seeing what you do. But I think that it should be a bonus for those of us and those folks who are long-term holders and believe in the ecosystem and the piggy bank. So that's my personal opinion. I'd like to see that done. And in fact, I think I'd like to see that done before the merged, the ability to merge untime locked accounts, just for ease of use. So anyway, I know that's not an easy, undertaking necessarily, and wouldn't be, right away. But the third one is just to have a memo, right? This last number 7 here, that was an airdrop from Stunna Breezy, and I'd like to be able to just note what that's from, or if I send airdrop time locked or untime locked banks to other people, I want to be able to put a little note there, like I did for my son and daughter, for their birthday. I sent 2 over for my son to manage for them. So come October, their birthdays, they'll have some cash flow as sophomores in high school. So anyway, that's my those are my 3 suggestions, are merging untime locked accounts, and then basically auto compounding for any staked piggy banks that are 1 year or longer, and then the memo. So anyway, that's going to do it. And I'll show you a little bit just real quick before I sign off here, where I am. You see for my main account here, I'm at 381. By next week, I should be at 400, which is another nice milestone. By this weekend, maybe even tonight, I'll be at 200 for my Pistons, deposits and tokens. That's going well. I already showed you where where the plants are here. Got at 93. I will be at 100 because I'm gaining, as I showed you, over 3,000 a day. Where am I at here? Yeah, 3,100 a day, right? I'm making over 2 a minute. This thing is just flying by. I'm going to start really racking this up, which is great. And so I'll get into the miners later, but I just wanted to give you a quick peek at where we are. Listen, be kind to each other. Prepare yourself for this economic downturn that's coming. I don't care what they say, that there's going to be a softish landing or soft landing. I've been through the .com, bubble burst in 99, been through the Great Recession, and been through 2017, 2018 as well. So listen, it's coming. It's been long overdue. The typical cycle is about 7 years. So get your house in order, still be kind, choose to be kind to people, choose to be generous, even while you're not yet at your financial stage and point that you want to be at. Have a wonderful weekend. Don't complain about the heat, because we were all complaining about the cold back when it was sub-zero in January and February. So enjoy it, embrace the hot, sweaty humidity, and get out and do something fun this weekend, and spend time with your family. Love each other, and that's going to be it. We will talk to you on Monday.